Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for your work yesterday. We're getting the hang of some new activities here in WordWork, and everybody's doing really well. I filled in a lot of the answers that folks did yesterday. I also did the circling and the underlining, which was another thing that I asked you to do. I think everybody has all of those elements finished already. I did want to go over some of the parts of speech for some of the suffixes that some people had trouble with, as well as the parts of speech for these words here. So one part that some people had trouble with was the suffix ative, ative. And if you looked at the assignment, you could see that I put some helping words here for suffixes. And the word I wrote for the ative suffix is the word creative. So creative is a word that we use to describe people, and describing words are adjectives. So I marked off, some people thought maybe creative was a noun or a verb. Make sure that we have marked that the word creative and the suffix ative is an adjective. Some other words that you might know that have that same ending are imaginative, communicative, appreciative, administrative, unimaginative. So these are all words that we would use to describe a person or something. So those are all adjectives. The suffix "esis," which is an action or process, the helping word for "esis" was the word photosynthesis. And photosynthesis is a process where plants take sunlight and turn it into food that they can use to grow. So because it is a process, it is a thing, photosynthesis, and words ending with "esis" are nouns. You might also know the word thesis when you have an idea for an essay that you are writing. Your thesis is the idea that your paper is focused on, and that is a noun. Once we know the part of speech that each one of those suffixes creates or is used for, we can use that information to figure out what part of speech each one of these words is. So degenerative ends with ative, just like creative, so it's an adjective. The word genealogy, L-O-G-Y, just like the word biology, and pretty much everybody knew that that was a noun. Gender has an ER ending, that which or one who, like the word writer, it's a noun. And Genesis, as we said, is a noun. Some people missed this last one, even though I gave it away in the video yesterday. So please make sure you're listening and watching carefully, because sometimes I notice if you're missing things that I'm telling you the answer to on the video. Now let's take a look at these definitions for each one of these words. We're going to use the information that's given to see if the word being defined is a noun, a verb, or an adjective. So before we even try to match them up, we're going to see what part of speech the definition is. And definition A, I even gave you a little clue here, the beginning or birth of something, origin. And because I see the article the, that tells me that it's defining a thing. Like the ball, the dog. We use an article, the, when we're talking about a thing. So that definition is defining a noun. Definition B, to make new, to form again. That to here at the beginning of the definition is giving me a clue that we're talking about an action. We might say to dance, to run, to jump. Those are all verbs, and this definition is defining a verb. Take a look at definition C. What type of word do you think is being defined there? Yes, we have to bring forth and to produce. That is describing a verb. How about definition D? What do you think that is? If you said noun, you were correct because it is the science or study. It is the science. That's the thing that is being defined. So that definition is describing a noun. What do you think about definition E? So I notice it doesn't have an article like the. It doesn't start with the word to like a verb does. That definition is telling us about a describing word. It is an adjective. And finally, definition F, it's a little tricky. See if you can find a clue. See if you can find a clue hidden in the definition. Yep, I see this the formal classification. It's defining a noun. So for today's activity, I'll be checking to make sure you have these parts of speech listed for each definition. And then I want you to use those as clues to help you match up the words with the correct definition. So as a hint, for example, number 1 with degenerative, that word is an adjective. So I shouldn't see that you match up that word with the definition that's describing a noun or a verb. So pay attention to those parts of speech, the parts of speech for the words and the definitions, and see how you do with matching up each one of those words. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your work.